Morning to you, Stephen, and thank you for having us here on DBS Radio this morning. We'd like to say to all, welcome to DAIC's Taking Care of Business monthly radio show, and we're broadcasting live from DBS Radio in studio, and we hope to join you via Facebook, but we'll improve on that for next time. So today's Taking Care of Business radio show is brought to us by the Invest Dominica Authority, and every month DAIC highlights members or partners where we discuss key issues relating to our business sector. I'm your host, Lizra Fabian, Executive Director of DAIC, and I am certainly delighted to be here with you today. Today we have some very interesting guests, some beautiful ladies here in studio, Mrs. Hermina Augustine and Grace Stephen. Teresa Grace Stephen. So thank you, ladies, for being here with us today. Please greet our listeners and introduce your roles at the Invest Dominica Authority so they can know who you are.
Okay. Good morning to all. My name is Grace Stephen. I'm the Investment Promotion Officer at Invest Dominica Authority. My responsibility or my role at Invest is to promote and facilitate sustainable investments on the island. And one of the things that we do with regards to image building and lead generation, in terms of image building, we would ensure that we have our billboards out, social media, website, and we do have an updated website. If anyone wants to do any form of investment on the island, you can definitely go on there and get all the necessary information, how to start off a business, the different areas of business in Dominica generally. With regards to lead generation, we do both local and foreign. So we're out there promoting investments, again, through our social media, through our website, direct contact with people, also cold calling, where we would call the different investors and find out whether they were interested in investing in Dominica.
Okay, great. And Hermina?
Good morning, Hermina Augustine from the Invest Dominica Authority, directly from the Investment Promotion Unit. I am the Senior Investment Promotion Officer, taking the lead role to promote Dominica and market the destination as the ultimate location for investments here in the Caribbean. I'm very pleased to be here on DBS Radio. We're very pleased to be partnering with DAIC again. It's an ongoing collaboration that we have, and we look forward to the discussion today. And as my colleague Grace just said, we have a lot going on at Invest Dominica and a lot of various activities that we do. So we'll be speaking to you a little bit more about that, and also the status of the authority, how we've been since the dreadful COVID-19 crisis. So we look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, ladies, Hermina and Grace, for being here in this program. And thank you to our listeners for joining us here this morning. We hope you're able to stay tuned for as long as possible, as this is a very interesting discussion. So this morning, we're eager to discuss business after COVID and the status of IDA. Business after COVID, yep, and the status of IDA. So, Hermina, we'd like to start with you. Can you tell us about the Invest Dominica Authority and its role?
Sure. We're starting off again on the authority first, and then further down in the program, we'll move over to this area in terms of how the crisis has affected us. So just about IDA, many people hear the name, but sometimes they are not very much aware of what we do on our role. The Invest Dominica Authority was formed by law in 2007. It's a government statutory board, and it's mandated to promote and facilitate investments in Dominica. And as you heard earlier, it is not just the focus. When people hear investments, sometimes they always think of just foreign investments, but it's also local. Actually, most of our investments come from local investments, financed right here in Dominica, and this is something we are very proud of. So in terms of its role, the authority, we execute strategies to promote Dominica as an investment destination. We provide information to investors, guidance to investors throughout the investment process, and any business you have, whether it's a small business or something with larger capital, we are here to provide this support to you from the concept all the way through to an expansion.
Okay. From concept to expansion.
From concept to expansion, yes. The structure, if I should just say a little bit about the structure of the authority, it is managed by a 7-member board. Our executive director is Ms. Rhoda Joseph. There are 2 main units, the investment promotion unit, which is, this is us here.
Okay.
This is the unit right here. And we are the ones, who do all the promotion and the marketing. These are the main units, the investment promotion unit and the investor services unit. We do have an administrative unit and accounts as well. And the investor services unit manages a pool of the authority's clients.
Okay.
So the officers are each assigned a pool of clients, and this is where this entails the monitoring, the periodic contact with investors, ongoing troubleshooting, and anticipating the investors' future needs. One of the things this unit also does is guiding on and development of policy recommendations to government. So an example of the work of the ISU would be, let's say, the preparation of a cabinet paper for a client, the site visits that they do, assisting maybe one of our locals with an expansion or a new business structure. So the ISU would be there with them all the way, working with them and guiding them.
Okay.
And there also are two individuals on that team.
Okay.
Also only 2 individuals on that team.
That's just the two of you. Okay, so you have your hands quite full,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much, yes.
Okay. So what's the structure of IDA like?
Oh, well, this is what I was just referring to, the structure with the board and the various units that we have. And we each have our own roles that we play in this in the units.
Okay, great. So Grace, what sectors generally does the IDA target for business in Dominica? What sectors are your priority?
Priority sectors. Our priority sectors are basically the sectors that the government are actually promoting. If we listen to most of the budget, the GSPS, these are the budgets that are actually mentioned over and over again. So IDA basically just working with the government on these different things. So we have the tourism. We have the services, we have agro-processing, and we have manufacturing. These are our main sectors. And on the tourism, we look at the accommodation sector. And when we look at the accommodation sector, we look at villas, boutique hotels, eco-resorts, guest houses. Another aspect of tourism would be the health and wellness, and that would include spas. There's an availability of natural underground hot water sources that makes Dominica ready for future investments in spas. Dominica already have 5 privately owned hot spas and around the island. So Dominica has the potential to be known as a place to visit for rejuvenation and relaxation. So this is already a niche that some of our locals have already tapped into, and there is room for expansion.
Okay, great. And what about the other sectors?
We're looking at the services sector. When you look at the services, we're looking at the information, communication, and technology. We look at call centers, the BPO and outsourcing.
Okay, so seeing that you say BPO, some persons listening may not understand.
The business processing and outsourcing.
Okay, great. No problem. We're just trying to make sure that everybody would understand.
Certainly. We look at the restaurant service, the financial services. We look at universities, and then there's also room for film, video, and song production.
Okay.
So all these would fall under the services sector.
Okay, so audiovisual sector is definitely included.
Definitely part of it. We look at the agro-processing sector, and with quite a number of farmers here have fruits, and we really don't know what to do with them. Here's an opportunity for another niche, someone to tap into something like that. We looked at the processed fruit production, the production of essential oils. We have the Dominica essential oils and spices. We have organic agricultural products, condiments, juices, local herbs. So all these would fall under the agro-processing. We also have the manufacturing sector, the production of exports of bottled water and water-based products. So that is an area that we have a lot of water. Dominica has a lot of water. Manufacturing area is open to that.
Okay.
Bath and laundry soaps. We have the cold pots. We have the DCP successors. Alcohol and alcoholic beverages. So these are just some of the areas for manufacturing, even wooden furniture. So these are areas we have. And we are not only going to stop at that. Any other sector which can create employment and stimulate growth to the economy. So while we are promoting these sectors, if someone would come to us with something different, we would not turn them away. We would definitely listen and have them.
I think that's really important, because we could see in light of COVID, new opportunities have emerged. And even all across the region, there are persons who've been manufacturing alcohol and alcohol beverages, and now they're manufacturing alcohol, like hand sanitizers and so many different things. So repurposing their products or repurposing their businesses to come up with new products for customers. So that's really good.
Yes, and as you know, with this COVID, I think a lot of people think that's the end of the tourism industry, and while they're going through a really hard time now, we don't think it's the end. But there are some creative and innovative ideas that people are going to come up with, and then we look at the processing of herbal teas and products from herbs. Through this COVID, I think almost every message you got, someone felt that either garlic or ginger was going to cure the COVID.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for someone to tap into this and
Okay, great. Well, I know later on we're going to be talking about new opportunities and sectors post-COVID, so we just touched on it a little bit now. So I'm really happy that you brought that part up. Is there anything else you want to speak to the areas that you target as ID?
Well, no, but we just want to let people know at this point how important it is to always have an open mind. Do not restrict business to, let's say, Roseau or Portsmouth, the major areas. We specifically want to reach out to people in the rural areas, people with community groups. Now is actually an ideal time, now that you're hearing us, to engage us, reach out to us at our office and see what you can do. There are also opportunities even connecting with organizations like Compete Caribbean, where they sponsor so many various programs, especially things that are community related and offer minority groups, women, maybe single mothers, youth, and there are some programs that are targeting that, where you can get a lot of technical assistance and other support. So now is actually a very good time if there is something in your village, whether it's fishing, whether it's some straw, or I actually just recently saw a group on Facebook, and they're doing the vetiver mats, and I was quite surprised to see that, because this is something I've known growing up, like my grandmother would do, and we've not been seeing a lot of that. So I was actually surprised to see a Facebook page here in Dominica where they're doing mats. So it's really a time to think, and not just because of COVID, but we always have to be open and creative and look for new ideas, look for new avenues to develop ourselves, because we can no longer depend on just imported items. Our import bill is extremely high.
That's true.
So we need to focus on other avenues, and I think now is the time, and that's why we're opening up our offices to every single one. If you ever felt that you were not somebody for Invest Dominica, I am telling you today, now is the time.
Okay, so in case we have someone who's traveling on a bus right now and they're getting on very soon, where is IDA located and how can we access you? We will say it again at the end, but we want those who may be getting off the radio very soon to be able to know how to access you.
Yeah, Lizra, we are located at the former mapping building. That's 5 to 7 Great Marlborough Street. We are on the same street with the Digicel building, Dr. Ferrara building, right opposite the First Caribbean Bank, very close to NDFD.
We're in the middle of the city. We're in the middle of the city. So I just gave a few landmarks that someone coming down there, they would, they would definitely know where we are.
Okay,
and
great.
Obviously, we have our website, investdominica.com, and we're on all social media. So
okay, and what's the number to reach you? Best number to reach you?
We're at 448-2045.
448-2045
or 255-8221.
Okay, or 255-8221. So if you're traveling on the bus and you have some business idea, you really want to get more information on investment and even Compete Caribbean, because Compete Caribbean is your partner. Well, your organization is their default local partner. So if you want more information on Compete Caribbean, the women's group, the community groups, you reach out to Hermina or Grace at Invest Dominica Authority, the former mapping building, or at 448-2045 or 255-8221. Okay, great. So thank you for sharing that with us, Hermina and Grace. And now, Hermina, we move to you. So, well, your department, how does your role impact or support the private sector development?
Well, that's a very important question, Lisa. Very, very important. And I want to highlight a couple things as we move forward. The Invest Dominica Authority always provides support and is available to the business community. But one of the points I want to make is sometimes when people look for support, a lot of us like to look for the tangible things that you can see. Mm-hmm. The let's say unfortunate thing about when you have an authority like Invest Dominica, you may not always be seeing us in the forefront. You may see us on GIS occasionally, on DBS Radio, on Kyrie, or some program, but the tangible things that people may look for may not always be there, but these things are happening. So we have various partners. For example, DIC, if we want to talk about business or the private sector, DIC is our partner. If we're looking at matters affecting agro-processing or manufacturing, we have partners like Dexia or like the Dominica Manufacturers Association. Issues relating to the development of tourism and tourism investment, Discover Dominica and also the DHTA are two key partners. So throughout, even also the, I must mention the Dominica Bureau of Standards, very important in various aspects of investment. So when we work with these various partners, it is our way to really bind and push various policies and issues forward which support the private sector. IDA has always been known as a one-stop shop. And by one-stop shop, we mean that we provide advice, guidance, we respond to inquiries, we help companies throughout the business process. Very important, we guide you to registration of businesses. Many people do not like to register their business. They start small, and yes, I understand when you start small, it can be challenging. So sometimes you may not have all your administrative things in place. And actually right now, I know several companies, small businesses are going through this very same issue because they did not have businesses registered. They did not have a proper business name. This is something that we literally preach to every single person who walks into our office. This is something we repeat over and over on our Facebook page. Have your business registered. Here is the website for the Companies and Intellectual Properties Office. Every month you can see that on our Facebook page because we keep ensuring that the basic things that are needed to support private sector development, IDA is in the forefront, pushing and guiding. This is really what we do. We arrange meetings for investors, whether it's right here, people from Dominica or overseas. We work with them as they work towards expansion. So again, I would also like to say we've been an integral part of this whole business journey from conception to operation to expansion. So while people may always remember us as the point of contact for applying for fiscal incentives, yes, this is very important. You hear people talk about concessions. It's a very good help for businesses when they are starting and when you want to have the waiver of import duties or VAT or the waiver of tax holiday, yes, you do come to IDA and we facilitate all of this for you. So these areas are very, very important, but our role does go much further than that, and it's just very important that the general public understands that. If you look at IDA, we are actually the liaison, the mediator between the government and business in Dominica. We are that connection. So there are things, yes, okay. You may not see it like in a tangible way, but we are there. And one of the things that we do, our recommendations on policy development. And this is very important. This is critical to the private sector. You may be aware that the private sector may have issues on a certain matter, maybe the tourism sector, and it's from our engagement with them, whether it's after a hurricane, whether it's during a slow period, whether it's after a disaster. We always are in touch with the private sector. As I said before, our officers manage clients, as a matter of fact. They manage a pool of clients. So it's ongoing interactions, and we understand the challenges of businesses. So we can draft certain policies and present them to government for approval, and okay. They can be enacted as. I wanted to mention a few examples of areas where we've had some policies. Really yes, so the public will know, oh, IDA was involved, because they would not have known otherwise. If you remember, we had about 2 years ago, the removal of VAT on hotel staff nets. It was like 10% and that was eliminated so that it could be easier for the hotel businesses.
Okay.
Yes. Previously, again, when the VAT Act was passed, and for the Fiscal Incentive Act, actually, when you apply for concessions, we would waive VAT up to the point of operations. This is how it had been over the years. What we realized was any like hotel development, for example, which had additional phases lower down, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, because their first phase was open and they were already operational, it did not qualify them to have VAT waived later down. So for these approved hotel developments, there was this recommendation to government that the VAT, it could still be waived for future phases. So this type of...
up to even expansion, like you mentioned previously.
So you have phase 2 starting in 2022. You can now have, because it's an approved hotel development, you can have the VAT waived.
So how can someone get their hotel approved by you? How do they get it approved to be part of to be one of the companies who can get it up to the expansion phase?
Exactly, by applying for the concessions through our office. You would have been working with us already from phase 1. We just continue with you, as I say, all the way through to operations. You would have an officer assigned to you. An officer will be assigned to you, and you will be working with that person throughout. More than likely from the beginning when you spoke to them, throughout when you open, after when you're having your aftercare, and we are there with you throughout that process.
As we said, Lisa, we don't just leave the clients hanging once they have received the concessions.
Okay.
We continue to work with them. It could maybe just be a conversation with an investor based on what you say to them, even knowing that this new VAT Act was passed, they would realize that, I can benefit, so I'm going to do phase 2 of a project. So the little, even in communicating with the investor, they might just see the need or the benefit in it, so...
If you remember, Lisa, as well, even you remember there was 10% of for the alien land holding license, 10% was charged on the value, and this was applicable to any non-national who wanted to purchase more than 3 acres of land in Dominica.
Okay.
And this was the application fee which had to be paid. And many people were saying it was extremely high, and sometimes you would even lose business, because it was really maybe to some extent even turning away some investors. But now if you have an approved development, you can now pay just $6,000 EC. This is paid to government, and this one-off fee, this is going to facilitate new business. So by doing this, we're really encouraging new investment, whether it's local or foreign, and this is the type of support that we give to the to the private sector. We ensure that the business environment is right. IDA actually takes the lead on the reform committee. And you would remember the Doing Business report, which comes out annually with the 11 various indicators which are used to gauge your business environment. We take the lead, and we are actively working with other local partners to ensure that Dominica improves in the different areas, and we can have a better ranking. If we have a better ranking, we can then attract more business.
Yes, and that would mean both locally and internationally.
Exactly.
Well, I would want to just point out that you mentioned a lot of ways that you support local businesses and not just foreign businesses, because some persons may think, okay, IDA, they're there to attract the foreigners and not supporting the locals. We see that that's different, right? You actually have clients that you work with, and you encourage persons who want to invest, large investments as well, or have an idea that's different and revolutionary, to come to you for support, and you'll guide them through the process from inception or conception to operation and then expansion.
Yes, because the policies and the law is non-discriminatory. It's not like it's only for local or it's only for foreign. It's for everybody. So there's nothing that, let's say, a foreign company can benefit from that you as a local cannot benefit, because we are following. Yeah, it's for all. The law is here for all. Yes.
Okay, so there you have it. If you're listening and you have an idea of something that you want to do, I mean, the different sectors we mentioned before. You mentioned tourism sectors, the sectors that you prioritize: tourism, services, agro-processing, manufacturing, but also any sector that will stimulate growth within our economy. And we see that even post-COVID or during this COVID period, new ideas are coming up, new opportunities. Customers need new services or new products. And if you do have that idea, IDA is willing to guide you through the concessions that would be available to help to make it easier for you to start a business. And they're able to provide that support even up to the expansion phase of that business.
Sure.
So maybe one of the things we could even continue to do is publicize it more to our local businesses, maybe in some infographic, something that can be shared, and maybe even a press release of the concessions, and maybe get persons to really understand, hey, these are available for me, then maybe I should really start this business like right now, pronto, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, Hermina, tell us as well, IDA recently announced a consultancy project that's there to support investment and the same business environment.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure, and I'm happy I mentioned Compete Caribbean, because Compete Caribbean it's an organization based in Barbados, and it's funded by the IDB, Inter-America Development Bank. There are various the countries' governments, Canada, DFID, which support this initiative, and they have these funds. The office is based in Barbados, and there they manage various projects to support mainly technical assistance to all the islands. And Compete Caribbean is actually a household name for us here at IDA, because we've worked with them before, and they've helped us with quite a few projects in the past. We're very thankful that they agreed to partner with us, and this is, as I said, this is not the first time. But since 2018, we contacted them. That was after the hurricane, when we were looking at ways to improve the economy. We were looking at ways for more sustainable investments after the hurricane, after the Prime Minister announced that Dominica was going to take this major leap to be the first climate resilient country in the world. And out of that, we needed to get our act together and see how do we contribute towards that effort. And we contacted Compete Caribbean, and we told them we may need some help, and they assessed our situation. And as I said, that was since 2018, and we've been working with them until a project was announced, until a project was approved for us. And the The name of the project is Improving Climate Resiliency Through Foreign Direct Investment, and it is aimed at identifying special investment niches in Dominica for targeting sustainable investments and also strengthening the capacity of IDA to attract sustainable investment, but also to contribute to positioning Dominica as the first climate resilient country. So we had several delays over the last year, but we are finally rolling out this program, unfortunately, during this global pandemic, of course. So it is even more important now that we are launching it, and we're following this pandemic, or we're actually still experiencing it. We are even adjusting to this, and the strategies and so which will be given to us will address all of this, the situation we are in now, as well as working towards a sustainable investments and so on. So
So I just want to break it down a little for someone who heard this. They may think that it's really technical, so want to understand for the grassroots level as easy as possible. I heard you mention a few points. You mentioned your investment promotion strategy, so that will help you with your strategy. That means how
we attract investments to Dominica,
and also locally as well, right?
Locally as well,
for foreign and local.
Yes. So it will look at developing the sectors. So after they've done all the research, they've spoken to different stakeholders, they will be able to guide us as to, from all the various sectors, maybe which are the ones that should take priority, which are the ones with the easy hanging fruits.
Yeah.
So if right now, what Dominica needs, maybe tourism may not be a priority, probably they may suggest that the report may suggest maybe manufacturing or renewable energy or some light manufacturing.
And you also mentioned
they will guide us.
Okay, great. Sustainable investments because we need to ensure that our businesses are sustainable, not just now like functioning for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and then in 10, 15 years it's no longer existing. So that means whatever happens now, looking at the digital economy, digital jobs, technology, these are areas that the world is moving, and I think these are areas that I hope through the
certainly
support, it will be able to emerge.
Certainly, because you can see, and even from your experience since the project has started, you realize you actually had to do an online
we had that interview where
this would have never been the case later. This would never have been the case,
to evaluate everything that's
anytime you're doing consultancies, the people out there, they meet, they do sightseeing, they do everything. They go to the projects, to the companies, to the various sectors, they reach out. This is the type of engagement we normally would have. However, this is not the case, because at the time they started rolling out, COVID had just started earlier in the year, and they had to forgo any type of travel. Because of that, we had to arrange. People have had interviews via Zoom, WhatsApp calls, WhatsApp video, and all of this. So the company which is engaged is a lead generation firm from the UK, WaveTech, and they were contracted by Compete Caribbean for that project. And they are now meeting with stakeholders. Well, this part has just finished last week, and they are now preparing for the first inception report. We should have that maybe in about another week or so. And again, all stakeholders will get a chance to review and contribute as we go forward with editing the documents and giving feedback. So what we get in the end is really a document which can help us and guide us through with investment promotion as we are now in Dominica. Also for capacity building, there's a lot of training for all our staff. This as well will be a major component.
To make sure that IDA can really deliver even better quality service and support to the businesses. Sure. Well, thank you for mentioning about this project, this program. I really look forward to see it being implemented to support our businesses even better in making sure that our investment climate is very conducive to everything. So
we've spoken. Sorry, not to cut you, but you spoke about sustainable investments.
Yes.
Our vision, IDA's vision, is to become the preferred investment location for sustainable development in the Caribbean.
Okay, can you repeat your vision again? Because it's, I mean, without the vision, I was listening to something recently, and if you don't articulate and you know your vision, then where are we heading? So repeat that for us again.
IDA's vision is to become the preferred investment location for sustainable development in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And We have actually seen it at our office, Lizra, day to day. There are times that our officers would go out, they would meet with the clients, and they would come back and they would report to the executive director, and she would say, I don't believe in this project. And I really don't. And she's really not going to put her all. After speaking to the staff, she's really not going to. And lo and behold, Lizra, more than half the time she's right.
Okay.
They fall short even before. They start, as soon as they started off, they fall short.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes, I guess, a vision of, experience dealing with some people, maybe that's what brings that in. But it's really about sustainable development.
Okay, but you provide that guidance in helping persons to sift through their ideas and make it even better so that it can actually be successful.
Definitely.
Okay, great. So we move to another part of this discussion, and if you're just joining us, we are here on DIC's Taking Care of Business radio show, where we have Invest Dominica Authority speaking about business after COVID and the status of IDA. So let's understand a bit more about you guys. I mean, the entire world is facing a serious pandemic which is affecting businesses all over Dominica, the rest of the Caribbean, and the entire world. How has it been for IDA, for you as the staff and also the clients of IDA?
Okay, Lizra, Dominica was affected like every other country around the globe. While the COVID cases did not escalate here in Dominica, business was seriously affected. For several weeks, we operated from home. Our office was closed. During that time, our staff was able to reach out to our clients, our business associates. We were able to post stuff on social media, keep our clients engaged.
Okay.
We were able to also webinars. As we found webinars online, we were able to inform our clients of it. So they themselves could participate and learn new trends and the way of doing business during the pandemic.
Okay.
During the lockdown period, we reached out to our clients and we circulated a brief survey among them. That survey was to determine three main things: the operational status of the company, the impact of COVID on the employment, and the impact of the operation, particularly on the revenue. The information collated and revealed that 42% of our clients have discontinued their operation.
Okay.
8 within the service sector, 16 within the accommodation sector, and 5 within the manufacturing sector. So we can see that our local investors were seriously impacted. The reason for that sudden survey, it was to provide the ministers, the government ministers, information in real time in order to help formulate policies to assist these investors. We're also happy to say, though, Lizra, that 2 of the local manufacturers have identified the emergence of new opportunities to produce hand sanitizers and that line of product.
Very good. Okay. Okay, so how have you been doing, Hermina?
Well, I don't know if I should go back to the work from home era, but we have been pretty stable, if I should say, in our office. I am very satisfied with the work that we did, reaching out to all our clients.
Okay.
Even on our website, we actually updated it. We had a direct link which was placed there, so that anybody, whether you're here, whether you're in Asia or Africa, you could go to our website and you would have this direct link to where you could get live updates from the government side, the Ministry of Health. We provided that information. We had that information also in a newsletter on the website. So we kept engaging clients, following up with them, doing a lot of personal development for learning. There were several webinars even on investment promotion and how you can work with clients from home. But we also have to realize too, in order for staff to produce and to work well, especially during a during a pandemic, during a crisis like that, it's important for they to also take care of their own well-being.
That's very true.
And we certainly encourage that. So anytime you would see an email from Hermina or from one of the staff, we're not just asking you how you're doing. We ask you about your family and your staff. This is key. So your wording, the type of words that are communicated are very important. And I'm saying that to everyone listening as well. Just showing a lot of empathy to others. One of the webinars was saying, be kind, care. And yes, we're not in a church, but this is actually how you have to work with human beings.
Definitely.
If you want somebody to come from their office and now process something, maybe access inventory links or whatever business you may be in, and do it from their home, it's a very, very different situation, and adjusting to that will take some time. In addition to that, the person is dealing with children who are also being homeschooled and all of this. So all of this has to be taken into context when you're speaking about business and investment and working from home. It was actually a challenge for some people, for some organizations, but we're also happy that and we had a recent blog that Grace did on our website in terms of how we adjusted and things like the things that came out of business and again from ongoing rapport with our clients. Some people went to taking orders on WhatsApp or the websites were items changing the way of business.
Yes.
And these things were very good, but it took a lot of work from some of the IT department and other people. And I really want to applaud the companies which really pushed and did that just to facilitate the rest of us here, the citizens who needed to do business and needed to access goods and services.
Indeed.
Yes.
That's a very important point. There were a lot of persons who sacrificed a lot of their personal well-being, their personal time, their safety, mental health, to be able to support so many
very
others
important
in
mental
this
health, yes.
challenging time.
Yes.
So when you see persons out there, we must be mindful that everyone goes through their situation and be kind, like you mentioned, be kind to others.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now, does IDA foresee any change in doing business?
Certainly.
What do you see?
If we take a look at IDA, we are being funded by a government subvention. Okay. This pandemic has certainly affected the government's revenue, and it will certainly affect IDA's subvention from the government. We now need to be more focused. We need to be clear on the markets that we're targeting. We execute government's vision and agenda. We have to take this very seriously. We have been hearing much talk about developing a digital economy. Almost everything the Prime Minister says, this is basically where he's going. We really have to follow up and go through with that. We need to attract investments in those areas. More meaningful partnerships. Staff improve their creativity. More virtual outreach. It certainly is not business as usual, and for IDA, it will not be business as usual.
So, as you mentioned, the digital economy, I just want to make a plug-in for the Digital Dominica series that's taking place.
Yes,
and
important.
It's in partnership, the Ministry of Public Works and Digital Economy, in collaboration with CREED and other partners, are having this series every Friday. It takes place. So if someone, not every Friday, but for this week it's Thursday, so it's actually tomorrow from 10 to 11. So tune into this as it mentions the value of the digital economy in Dominica. So if you go through the CREED's Facebook page, you'll be able to see the past 2 weeks that took place, and they spoke about very important information in regards to the digital economy, because that's where the world is moving at. So in Dominica, we want to ensure that we understand the trends of the world and are able to adapt and make sure our businesses are more successful.
Certainly.
So is there any other change that you foresee? That
like many of the other companies are wrong. IDA had to switch to virtual. We have Zoom meetings. Our boss sits in our office, and we have our meetings via Zoom. So there are a lot of little changes, and we just have to accept it and move along with it. I guess it's for the best, for all. And it's being very creative. Before we just heard about the Skype or the Google, and now we have all these others coming.
Okay. Okay, so you mentioned change in doing business in this way, but I hope that even change in our doing business ranking can also be improved in light of COVID and so much changes.
That's an opportunity for us to do some work in those areas. So,
because just thinking about the doing business ranking, they say it's not that we are necessarily doing worse if we stay the same or our number or ranking go down, but if we do not improve as quickly as others are improving, then our ranking will reduce. So it's a really important...
places below you, because they did a lot of improvements, they immediately go 5 spots ahead of you.
Exactly.
Yes, so because you did nothing.
I think even as partners, we need to discuss about this and see how we can help to improve our doing business ranking, because that would determine whether persons come to Dominica, whether they are attracted to us, or whether they are not attracted. But Hermina, what do you advise for businesses as we adapt to probably a post-COVID period? Well, post-COVID period is just about here.
It's just about here, yes. We are already, without a doubt, right now, we are already in what people are calling the new normal. So this new business environment was inevitably, from a few months ago, we knew that was coming. And we anticipated a lot of changes. It is a period that we must embrace and adapt to the change in doing business, as we spoke earlier. For IDA, we have adjusted, and we will have additional changes and enhancements as we move forward. Our new strategy, which I referred to, based on this project that we are doing, it is going to be a major aspect of that. So when this new strategy comes out, additional training, it is expected, that the staff training and all of that you will see a new IDA. Okay. During the last few months, the unit, our investment promotion unit, has focused a lot on personal development, and we've gained useful information which can be shared with some of our clients and businesses. So, and with all businesses in Dominica for that matter. So I would just, as we're wrapping up, I know we're close to the end of time, I would just like to highlight a few of these areas that I think businesses generally can take a look at and see how you can incorporate that in your business. And think digital, and think of ways that your business can utilize technology a bit more. Technology, a digital economy, this is the future. I am asking all businesses to take note of that. New technology, that's the future. Incorporate it in your business. Take a look at your products and services. It may be a time to diversify or improve products, or even eliminate products or services which are not going to increase revenue moving forward.
Okay.
This point is straightforward. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. Consider having a website if you did not have one already, especially if you're in sales or distribution. This is something to consider. Your website can be your office, it can be your cash register, it can be your sales and marketing department. Without a doubt, embracing all social media platforms is a must. There are some social media platforms which may not suit a particular type of business. Mm-hmm. As long as there is something, there's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, and others that some of us don't even use as yet. Please do, whether it's a Facebook page, something that you can update daily, share information, let people know what's going on in your business.
Okay.
If this is possible for a win-win situation, have work-from-home options for your staff. Consider flexi time and hours to assist for employees who have young children or dependents at home. This is also a good idea. The work-from-home did work for some people. The nature of your business, it may not be the best. If you can, again, for moving forward, consider that. Flexi hours, maybe, again, with people having children at home for the last 3 months, it can be very difficult. Daycares are closed. Schools are closed. So probably somebody who maybe does 2 days at home, it could probably help an employee. Keep them in mind every time you make these major business decisions. Also, review emergency plans and communication plans. Some changes may need to be made. We are in the hurricane season, everyone, remember that. So please prepare and review your disaster plans to accommodate new business and staff policies. there are some staff which may continue working at home. This means they may have systems or a laptop or equipment from a camera, some type of equipment which is used for work, but they now store it at home because they operate mainly from home. How are these things taken care of? How are they stored? If there's a hurricane, think of how little things through the hurricane which may not have been very important before, but think of how this can be considered now that we're in the post-COVID period. And just finally, I would just like to tell everyone, read, learn, engage new partners and relationships, build associations. This can never be too much. Build linkages, just like how we're doing now, and we intend to expand our reach with other associations. Keep this in mind, and we encourage you to do this as we move forward.
Okay, great. These were some really interesting tips for businesses, and that's lessons that you've learned over the
last couple of
months.
Yes.
So that's very good. I want to highlight a few things that you've mentioned throughout the program. So you said that IDA supports businesses from the conception of the idea to operation and also expansion. So that's really important. You look at 4 major sectors, but you also look at any sector that will stimulate growth in Dominica. So,
and create employment. This is also very important.
Creating employment.
Definitely.
So we look at the tourism sector, services, agro-processing, and manufacturing. But in light of even COVID and other things that's happening in the world is moving at a very quick rate. So if there are opportunities that individuals who are listening, or if you know of your family member or friend who have a business idea that they want to understand more of the investment climate and what supports would be available to support them in being successful, then you could reach out to the Invest Dominica Authority. And like we mentioned before, it's at the former Mapping Building, and the numbers are 448-2045 or 255-8221. But just in case someone is listening out of Dominica, or area code 1767, so if you're interested in even investing in Dominica, make sure that you add the 1767 before the numbers presented.
Okay. Lizra, before we end, I know we're going to end in a few minutes. I just want the public to know one service that we provide at IDA is to assist our clients or investors to get office space.
Okay.
And sometimes they ask for land. If there's anyone out there who has office space, and they could call in the numbers.
Okay.
If anyone has land, they could also call us and let us know the location of the land, and we're actually asking either if you have a site plan or anything, pictures.
Okay. That's really important.
Yeah,
we're actually encouraging videos as well. If there's a video you have, and you can send a little video clip, and we could have this to share with a potential business person or investor, we would be happy to accept those.
Definitely.
And use it to see how we can build some contact for you. On our website, under contacts, you will see the names of all the officers. Our direct email address is there. Our direct telephone lines in our office, which means you don't have to go through the reception. So we make it so easy for everybody. If you just go to investdominica.com, hit contacts, right there you will see Hermina, you will see Patrick and Victor, you will see Cheyenne Mornell, you will see Grace Stevens, Rhoda Joseph, everybody is there. Send us an email. If not, if you don't want to use this direct emails and you just want to do, let's say, a general inquiry, you can go to info@investdominica.dm. On our homepage, as soon as you hit the homepage, you're going to see something called a live chat. If you're actually viewing our website and you have a question or you want some more information, just hit the live chat button. One of us will be there live. Well, unfortunately, we are both at DBS right now.
Yes.
You can hit the live chat button, and register, and we will be speaking to you, chatting with you, just like any other website. I actually had 2 in the last week.
Okay.
So people are always on the site getting information. The website is in English, it's in French, it's in Spanish, it's in Chinese. I mean, you can't go wrong with that,
Awesome.
So for people listening outside of Dominica, I just want to encourage you to keep in touch with us, follow us on social media, and we will take the conversations further from there.
Okay. That's really great. Thank you, Hermina and Grace. And just before we leave, we just want to remind or inform our listeners that there are also other ways of, through the DAIC, we want to put a plug for events that's coming up. Tomorrow, we have the Distinguished Speaker Series, which is a partnership with the Dominica Youth Business Trust, the IOM International Development Fund, and the Clinton Foundation, where we speak to Timberland and look at brand consciousness and responsible outsourcing. So that's all part of investment as well. It takes place tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 to 3:30. So you could register via our DAIC Facebook page and you'll be able to get the information there. Also, if you want to understand more of remote work and how to maintain a competitive edge for businesses, DAIC, in partnership with CARICHAM through our regional growth series, will be hosting a session with the International Labour Organization. So you could also tune into our Facebook page to understand more about this. And we do have, as Hermina and Grace mentioned, about the hurricane season, we have already started our campaign, Hurricane Preparedness Campaign, from the 1st of June, and every day we share tips which are very important to ensuring that you can maintain business continuity. And as you know, DIC is a membership-driven organization looking out for the interests of our members by leveraging our partnerships such as with IDA, where we enhance our advocacy. So to learn more about us, you can go to our website, dominicachamber.com, or visit us at the top floor of Prevost Cinema, or you could call us or leave a WhatsApp message at 235-1962. So today we've spoken about business after COVID and the status of IDA, and we've already mentioned some key points that we want you to remember. But if you want to reach out to IDA, you could check their website or you could call them at 448-2045 or 255-8221. Grace and Hermina, thank you so much for joining us here today on our DAIC Taking Care of Business radio show. Is there any final word you want to say to our listeners?
Well, Lizra basically mentioned the social media platforms that IDA is on. So we encourage all to visit our Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're also on LinkedIn. Any business people who want to reach out to us via LinkedIn. We just encourage all to come to us to get the information you need to start your business. Once you speak with us at IDA, the delays that you would encounter without speaking with us, this would be avoided.
Okay, that's a good plug.
Well, my final was really just to say thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, DBS Radio. Thank you, Lizra. Thank you, DIC. Lizra, you've been an exceptional host. We need to speak further. It's been such a great discussion. And from the phone buzzing and the WhatsApp messages, friends and clients listening here and abroad, I can see that everyone enjoyed the discussion. Thanks for your feedback, guys. Thanks to all our staff, those listening, our accounts department, even the guys down at DDA. We know all of you all are listening. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to working with everyone as we continue to build a more resilient economy here in Dominica. Thank you, everyone.
That's awesome. And we look forward to you on our, to all our listeners on our next Taking Care of Business radio show, where we highlight our members or our partners and we bring to you relevant information. And I'm your host, Lizra Fabian, and wishing you a blessed and productive day. Goodbye, everyone.